Let's take a look at integrating Tall Emu with MYOB. Now, we support MYOB Business. We also support MYOB Account Right, provided you've got the data file up in the cloud. So all of the sort of versions of MYOB that you might come across, we support. Now, what we do is we first of all go down to the admin area and jump across to integrations. Now, here you can see everything that we support. You can see MYOB, EXO, Zero. So right now we're going to focus on MYOB. It's a free connection to MYOB. And I'll hit the activate button. And what it's going to do is open up the screen and ask to connect to MYOB Account Right Live. Now, in actual fact, that'll connect to any version of MYOB. We should really change that label. But let's click the button and see what we get. Now, it'll take me across to the MYOB website, authorize me. Now, I've actually asked it to remember my username and password, so it's not going to go and give me the username and password request. And now it's pulled back a list of all of the data files. Now, I'm going to select this one here, MYOB Business Pro. It's an MYOB Business Pro data file, funnily enough, that just contains a little bit of test data. Now, I'm going to cover the other ones up because they're actually confidential and we don't need to show you what those are. So I'm going to hit the connect button. And what it's going to do now is connect again to MYOB, this time to the MYOB Business Pro data file, and it's going to download everything from that data file. Now, I'll let it start, and then what I'm going to do is just pause it. So this can take anywhere from, a minute or two, if there's a very small amount of data, to several hours if you've had the data file for a couple of years. So you don't have to wait and be bored during the video or any more bored during the video. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a pause and wait till it's finished before resuming. Okay, so that's now finished and the screen is now toggled. We've now imported data from that company file, and we've got some options here that we can set up. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this. This is all covered in the help. I will very, very loosely cover just a general option so you can get an idea of how it works in a moment or two. What we'll do first of all is let's go and have a look at what we got. Now, this is just a very basic test data file that I use, so there isn't much data here. I'm going to warn you in advance. But first of all, let's click on companies, and it's pulled in my test companies. Contacts, no surprise, it's pulled these contacts in. And then if I go into my sales area, of course, there won't be any sales opportunities or calendars because MYOB doesn't have them. I don't think there are any quotes in that test data file. Yes, there is. Good. So let's click on that quote and we can see the company. We scroll down, we can see the items. And then if we take a look over here at the top, we can see a nice little MYOB logo. And so what this does is allows us to control for this record what's happening with MYOB. So we can see here it was last imported from MYOB today, and it was never exported. If I needed to re-import that from MYOB, I can hit that button and I can pull it in again. Now, because this is a quote, we don't export them to MYOB because obviously Tall Emu should be looking after quotes. We go and have a look at orders and see what we get here. We don't have any. MYOB business that I'm connected to doesn't have sales orders. Jump into invoices and we can see here we've got some invoices, some issued, some paid. Jump into payments, and again, if I were to go and click on this, I can see there's a $100 amount here. It's being applied against invoice number 4. Jumping away from there, let's look into inventory. So inventory, both stock track products and non-stock track products, whether it's a product or service. In Tall Emu, it's inventory product. Let's go have a look. And these are the items that we have. Now, again, these are just silly test items, but if I go and click on stock tracked item, terrible name, I don't have any in stock, but I can go down here and have a little look, and there's stock tracked item, my primary location, and again, none in stock. So all of this has come through now from MYOB into Tall Emu. Now, what we would do ordinarily is we would say, okay, well, now we've got that data in from MYOB, we're going to start using Tall Emu, and primarily now Tall Emu is going to be the system that the customers use, or you use rather, hopefully you use, to manage the sales process moving forward. So what we would then do, and there's instructions on the website for doing this, and our team can help you set it up. We go into integrations, And let's have a little bit of a think about how we might want this to work. So all of our leads go into Tall Emu, and what we would probably want to do is set those up to automatically go whenever we create an invoice. We probably want to do the same thing for contacts. Let's have that on automatic as well. So if the contact already exists in MYOB and we update it in Tall Emu, it's going to go and sync across. You know what? Same thing for products. Whenever we update or create a product, I want to push that across into MYOB. Or I could set it to manual, which means only the products I want to go over, when I want them to go over, will go. Quotes we're not going to send. Invoices, what we might decide to do is use the schedule option. And so we might say, for example, on weekdays, we're going to start sending invoices over at 3 o'clock once per day, or we'll make it every hour until 5 o'clock. I'll set that back to manual and leave that be. Payments are an interesting one. So for payments, you might be using MYOB bank feeds, in which case you might want to schedule an import after bank feeds have run. You might also, though, be charging credit cards in Tall Emu, and so you may want to go and have an automatic export of payments directly to MYOB as soon as they happen. So you can set both of those things up. You can set that to automatic, and you could set this one, for example, to say, well, after the bank feeds have come in, let's say they're coming at 11 o'clock, we'll go and import them into Tall Emu. So we can control these settings all the way down. So we've got things like stock levels and purchase orders and work orders. Now this can all be set up following the instructions, and once you set this up, that's it, then you don't have to touch it. And the idea is that Tall Emu becomes the master for the day-to-day operations, and it will transfer across to MYOB all of the data that MYOB needs to make proper financial reporting. That's pretty much it.